Well, that was fast.
Well, which is it, Elisa? Are we recording or are we not?
I think we're recording.
You are. I had done it to the wrong place.
Okay. Good evening.
Thank you.
This is the May 8th, 2025 meeting of the Needham Conservation Commission. I'm Dave Harrer, Conservation Commission Chair. As a reminder, this meeting is being broadcast to the town's YouTube channel and via Zoom, and it's being recorded for publication, later viewing, and administrative purposes. Before we get started, I'm going to confirm the presence of the commission members and staff. Sue?
Here.
Clary?
Here.
Reed?
Here.
Bill?
Here.
Fred and Paulina are out, and Deb
Here.
and all supporting materials have been provided to the commission members and are available on the commission website. Here's some ground rules for our meeting. I'll open and introduce each hearing on the agenda and then introduce the applicant or their consultant. After conclusion of the applicant's presentation, I'll call on the staff and then the commission members to provide their comments or questions. Please wait until your name is called. After comments or questions from staff or the commission members, I'll solicit comments from the public. Please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Also, please mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Okay. So moving to the agenda. We had some minutes from the past. From
Blast from the past, yes.
4/28/22 and 6/12/22. Did we have any other minutes? I can't remember.
I don't think I got them from the last meeting yet. But Sue did review and send back comments on those too.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Sue. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes for 4/28/22 and 6/12/22?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, let's vote. Clary,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay. Anything going on with enforcements or violations?
Not currently.
I was meaning to swing by Gary Road, but I never got a chance, but I will.
Yeah, I'm
They-
sorry. I haven't had time either.
I'll do it. I go by down that way frequently. I'll the guy promised that he would clean up the site
Right.
once he got the forms or his foundation up. Okay, so we have two hearings that were continued from last time. First one is 11 Glover Road. My understanding is there's no outstanding issues. This was continued so that we could put together the order of conditions.
Correct.
So if there's no comments from no further comments from the commissioners or the public, I would entertain a motion to close the hearing for 11 Glover Road, DEP file 234-946.
So moved.
I second.
Okay, let's vote. Clary,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, we'll get to the order of conditions once we complete the agenda.
Can I just say one thing?
Oh,
I
yeah.
just noticed in the attendees that Ken Sargent from the town is there. And just wanted to let you know, they voted to issue your permit at the last meeting. So I'll be, what is the word I'm looking for? Issuing it. So you don't need to be at this meeting. So just letting you know. Ken Sargent. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the next item is 72 Valley Road. And again, this was I don't think there's any outstanding issues. We continued it. And if there's no further comments from the commissioners, I would entertain a motion to close this hearing. 72 Valley Road, DEP file 234-950.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, let's vote. Clary,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, next item on the agenda is 106 Windsor Road. This is a request for determination of applicability. And Phil Jensen, you representing the applicant?
Yes. Do you need anything from me, or am I able to just listen in?
Well, if
So
you
you
wanna,
you should present,
yeah, if you want to
what you submitted.
show your site plan, just to give
Sure.
everybody a refresher on the site, that would be great.
He's muted.
All right, you could go ahead and share your screen.
1 second, please.
Yeah. Great.
Sorry, I'm working off my laptop. This is our site prep and demolition plan with the existing structure here. And this is our proposed site plan with the existing structure behind it.
Yeah, so essentially, this project is just at the point of demoing the existing structure. They're gonna come back once they propose the new house. But since a portion of the demolition, was in our jurisdiction, I thought they should at least come in with an RDA so that, you know, we could make sure that they put in erosion controls and such. So that is essentially what they're doing.
Oh, yeah. Can I just,
Yes,
if once, if we issue a RDA, do they really have to come back? Because,
so we're gonna issue a negative determination, based on this plan, which is just the demo. When they determine where they're gonna construct the new house, they'll most likely have to come in with a notice of intent application and, you know, stormwater and all of that, depending on if that ends up being in our jurisdiction at all. I see that the proposed house on this is outside of our jurisdiction. I don't know if they're gonna be proposing any work in our jurisdiction, but they would have to come back.
all right. Do any of the commissioners have a question or comment?
So I have one question, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
So this RDA is just solely for the demo and removal of material off the site?
Correct.
Okay. and it includes erosion control measures. And
Yes.
but they're not proposing anything on the site to restore it to anything right now. That's gonna come back in the notice of intent. Am I correct?
I will let the applicant speak to that. I had mentioned that I assumed the commission was gonna wonder what was gonna be going in that place once the structure was removed, so.
Hey, Philip, could you put up the previous drawing too? Because that shows the erosion controls, yeah, a dark line. Okay, thanks.
So can you explain what you're proposing to put in that area until, you know, you do the construction or what's going to become of that area in the commission's jurisdiction?
I am not positive what, I would have to check back with my project manager on this.
So there is a paragraph that says you're gonna put in lawn that's, I don't know if it says identical, but close to the lawn that is adjacent to it. I can't see it on my screen, but I remember reading it before.
Yes,
Yeah, it
Do you
was
mi-
on the other plan.
Okay, so,
So
Reed, do you have a question?
Yeah, so I guess this is a question for Deb, because this is it's been a little unclear to me, right? Because when we make a determination that of non-applicability, so how is it that there's an obligation to put in the erosion controls on the part of the applicant?
Well, because in the negative determination, you usually have three requirements: notification, when they're gonna start work, installation of the erosion controls. So,
That's also a building permit requirement. as
Yeah,
well.
okay,
right, and I have to sign off on all of this for the building department permits. So, you know, and I take drives around. I'll take a drive by. You can let me know when you have your erosion controls in, and I could stop by. So it's still a permit. You know, it still goes to DEP. The only difference is, you know, there isn't the conditions as they are in the order.
yeah. Okay,
All right,
got it, thank you.
Sue, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. I feel this whole project should come back as an NOI. Just because it's not going to be completed with the RDA in our jurisdiction. There's going to be an empty hole or something there, and there's going to be work done there, and whether any stormwater systems are going to be there or trees. I don't know what will happen with trees, plantings. I just feel this whole thing should come back as a notice of intent.
So,
So you mean you want to issue a positive determination and make them file a notice of intent?
Well, I think it should be a whole, it should all be one thing.
Well,
Yeah,
they're just trying to demo it at this point. They don't, I
but-
mean,
but
originally I was
the-
going to sign off on this until I saw the plan and saw there was a decent amount of the existing structure in our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused. There's a small portion of the existing structure that's in our jurisdiction.
Right.
And maybe some concrete. So my understanding is that this would be removed, and I would assume that prior to any other work on the site, they would probably grade it, and then there would be a a more detailed plan for the full project development. And that would be, may or may not be subject to an NOI. I would suggest that the applicant would submit another request for determination of applicability at that time, depending on what the final site work is. Otherwise, it's just a small portion of this work will be done within our jurisdiction. The way it's laid out now, the house and other amenities probably would not be within our jurisdiction.
Right. Does the other plan show the proposed house?
Yeah, but my understanding is that's not finalized. It's,
Right.
it's what they're showing now, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not within our jurisdiction. So,
Wouldn't the application for the permit for the new building also show the destruction of the old building? And then in that manner, everything would be included in one application? And you could
That's
look at
not the
that.
way they're doing this project. I don't know
Well-
if they're demoing it and selling it, and that person's gonna come up with their plan. It basically came through from the building department electronically, and I reviewed it, and it came through as a demo. So they have to put together a whole plan for building and also for us. And they
So-
won't get a building permit until I sign off on it.
so, Bill, you have any further comments?
Well, I would, then if I would look at it as a demo, I would say there's, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's some land under our jurisdiction or in the buffer zone here that's going to be converted from a structure into lawn, or it's not really clear because it's not clear what's beside it. It would be nice to see some pictures of what's beside it and what they're going to convert it into.
Well, they may
And-
not know that right now.
Yeah, and so I would think that
But-
it would require an application for a permit.
Okay, so, let me just ask Sue if you have any remaining comments, because your hand's still up.
Oh, I'm
Mm.
sorry. I meant to put, but I was gonna say, I just think it should be all one entity with an NOI, because it's all connected to the area in our buffer zone and how it's gonna all connect. That's how I feel, that
Okay,
it should be under an NOI.
Reed, do you have any?
Yeah, I guess I think Bill is raising a good point, right? Because, I think we'd rather see rather than just put in grass, right? Put in actual vegetation that is appropriate for being in the buffer zone. But I don't know.
All right, my feeling is that, this is a partial component of the project, and they're asking now just to be able to demo. they're
And
gonna
I think one of the other applicants has
Yeah,
his
well,
hand raised.
Yeah,
So
we'll get to that after the commissioners.
All right, he may have more information though. He's the other part of this.
I'm just saying that my interpretation of this is like it's gonna be a two-step process, and that they will have to come back to the commission once they finalize their plans, and that may be a NOI or maybe it would be a request. So with saying that, David Murray, you have your hand up and you're part of this project? Do you have some?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Yes, hi, I do have information. So we are looking to just start the demolition process. We have the landscape architect just got onboarded. And they were looking to basically follow all guidelines. It seems like the client has full flexibility on how we're approaching how we're approaching you guys and making sure we satisfy your requirements. I just think that it was too early for the landscape architect to basically make that decision at this moment. So I think we were comfortable with this as a final design, but we didn't want to be, not forthright if they ultimately get further along and want to make a change.
Okay, so
Mm.
I feel that the commissioners would want to know what the final disposition of the portion of the land within the buffer zone will be
Yeah.
before they would issue a determination. That's, if I'm reading that wrong, let me know, but I think that's the sense of what I'm hearing. Reed?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it needs to be final, but like it needs to be something that would be acceptable to us, and
That's-
we can work with the applicant once there's an actual more fulsome.
Okay, so let me ask this question. If the applicant has shown or will show what the final disposition of that piece is, would the commission feel comfortable ruling on a determination of applicability or not?
So-
Clara?
so-
Clara, you got your hand up?
Yes,
Um,
I'm sorry. I understand what the team of consultants are trying to do. Just out of curiosity, how many square, what is this area? What's the total area that we're talking that's within the buffer zone that we are concerned about right now? Do you have a number, David or Bill, or?
I would say it's maybe 200 square feet. I mean, it's basically clipping the corner of a building that we're just trying to remove from the buffer zone. I think I'm not understanding kind of the thought process in a future design. We're comfortable with showing this as a final design and saying that we are all we're looking to try to do is satisfy the mindset that the building wants to move outside the buffer zone. So that's
Okay.
why we're looking for that approval.
Right, but I think the commission would like to know
The disposition of the
yeah,
area,
what is going to be placed once
right?
the building is removed. What
So
is-
my thought, Dave, was, and I'm not sure if this is possible, Deb, but within the, I lost it. In the response of the RDA, we can say it's a negative, but can we put a condition in the negative to suggest that, that we have a plan in the near future of some sort of the area for restoration or whatever it is going to be? Can
Yep.
we request more information? And I think because you will have to come back, because probably you will have to do another RDA for the rest of the project, I'm not sure. But I think if there's a condition there that we ultimately know what's going to be done with that space, instead of just leaving it, without any plan for it, that
It shows
would
putting in
help.
native plants,
It says convert to a lawn.
in native plants. There was full intent of basically satisfying however you guys deem necessary. We can have it just restated as putting in native plants.
I'm fine with that. I'm personally fine with that.
Okay.
Native plants is fine with me, Dave.
Yeah. All right, so you're going to
Yeah. I as long as I've been on the commission, I've never seen a situation like this when it's kind of a separated part. I still feel strongly about the whole plan coming in together, including the plans for the new building, whole plan coming in together as an RDA, if it's just going to be an RDA. But I think we need to know the whole plans, not this little parcel.
the applicant stating that this is the whole plan.
No, with the new building too.
He's stating that the new building is outlined and it's not in our jurisdiction. And
Yeah, but
so he's
stormwater-
providing that information for our information.
but
But
stormwater or
it's not in
planting,
our jurisdiction, and you know, the stormwater issue would be you know, a building permit issue.
I mean, I've just never seen a situation like this before, that's all.
Okay. Anybody else? Bill, you got your hand up?
So this isn't within, there's not a river or a pond or something. This is just vegetated wetlands,
It's a buffer zone issue.
buffer zone to a vegetated wetland.
Yes.
And I think I agree with, someone said it, if it was more clear on what they were gonna do with that 200 square feet, as opposed to say, making it similar to adjacent lawns, to say, put in native species. I think that's the intent of most of the projects that I've seen, is to put in native species and restore it to its original type of you know, plants and wildlife.
Well, I mean, it's a disturbed area, so
There's a building in it.
yeah.
I understand, but you're taking the building out.
I'm on a call.
And if you, and my question is, what are you gonna put in instead?
Yeah, okay.
And
So,
even though we only have a small fraction of it, that's what I'm looking at.
all right, so just to kind of summarize things, I think that and correct me if I'm wrong, Deb, but I think the applicant has a perfect right to put in a lawn there, taking out a building.
Yeah.
But the applicant has proposed planting some native species. So I think that it would be acceptable if we do decide to issue a negative determination, that there would be the conditions added to that this would be planted with some native species.
And I can also put a note where I sign off on the building department permit. I
And
can put a note in there as well.
Then if there's any changes to this project that would trigger something within our jurisdiction, then they would have to, you know, submit for a permit or an NOI or whatever. But that may not be the case based on what is presented here. So that's my 2 cents. Is there anybody in the audience that has their hand up? I don't see anybody.
Thought Elisa said
Yes,
someone
they do.
did.
They have their hand up?
Yes.
All right. So let's move them over.
Okay.
I'm one of the abutters on Stratford Road,
Could you state your name, please?
Michael Gillespie.
All right.
The concern, we've had a number of tear downs adjacent to our house and nearby. And the whatever it is to protect from runoff has been drastically ineffective. And the runoff has run into the road, it's run into the rail trail behind those houses across from us. And so I'd be very concerned, there are ponds right behind our house and behind this structure, small ponds, and I'd be concerned about destroying those with runoff.
Okay.
The 6 inches of whatever they put down doesn't hold back when there's a storm.
All right. Anything else? Any other commissioners have any final comments? If not, I would entertain a motion to issue a negative determination of
You have to
effective.
close first.
So
Okay. I'm sorry. I would entertain a motion to close the hearing for 106 Windsor Road.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, let's vote. Reed,
Aye.
Clary,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue.
A question, if I want to vote nay on the negative, do I vote nay on closing?
Well, you can vote however you want, but, you know, either vote yes or no.
So if I say yes to closing, I still have a right to
Oh,
say
yeah.
no.
Yeah, when we get to the next
Okay.
motion.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, and the chair votes yes. Okay, so now I would entertain a motion to issue a negative determination of applicability for 106 Windsor Road.
So moved for negative determination of applicability with the conditions of vegetative plants to restore that 200 square feet,
Right, as we discussed.
as we discussed, yeah.
Right.
Second.
Somebody- Second. Okay, vote Reed,
Aye.
Clary,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Nay.
and the chair votes aye. All right, thank you. And
I'll, when I issue it, do you want me to mail it out to you or do you want to pick up the determination?
I can pick up.
Okay, I'll let
Yeah,
you know
thank
when
you.
it's ready.
Thank you.
who's sharing their screen? Could you, okay, stop. All right, thank you. All right, the last item on our agenda is 84 Kendrick Street, which is known as Cutler Park, and we have a couple individuals from the DCR, Alexandria and Megan. Do you want to give us a little summary of your request?
Sure. Good evening, Chair Harrer and members of the Needham Conservation Commission. My name is Alexandra Chandi, and I am a trail planner at DCR. Also with me is Megan Shave, who is the senior ecologist for the eastern portion of the DCR properties. So we're here today to ask for permission via an RDA to replace the decking and some of the stringers associated with the existing boardwalks at Cutler Park. I'm trying to figure out how to share my screen because I do have a couple. Oh, here we go. Now I see it. Sorry about that. Do have a couple of images. So hopefully you can see the image of the Cutler Park trail map from DCR. And hopefully you can see my cursor. Can anybody confirm?
Yeah, we see.
Great, awesome. So what we're proposing to do is we do have a couple of, if the commission members have been to Cutler Park lately and in the past also, we have these two boardwalks designated with this like line and dot symbology on our trail map. So there's two of them. One is about half a mile and the other one's about a quarter of a mile. The decking is starting to pop. Sometimes decking is popping because the stringers are actually rotted. This is a boardwalk that has a vintage of the 1990s. It was permitted by the Needham Conservation Commission back then. And we've been slowly doing minor replacements, but I feel like we need to do some major stringer and decking replacement just to continue to provide a safe passageway across these boardwalks at Cutler Park. The boardwalks are located within the 100-year floodplain as well as BBW, so we are within a resource area. However, we feel that we're not going to be impacting the resource area because the majority of the work is going to be done on top of the boardwalk, so it would just be popping the decking and popping the stringers. We may need to step on the side of the boardwalk, which is an area that's the vegetation is managed so it doesn't encroach with the boardwalk. And that's only if it's necessary to remove the pieces of stringer and put them back on the existing boardwalk surface and get them off the site. The work is proposed to be completed by a Student Conservation Association group, which is an AmeriCorps program group. Unfortunately, they lost their funding, but we're able to keep the group at DCR. They will be overseen by DCR trail staff, just to make sure that they're cleaning up as they're removing the pieces of the boardwalk and not leaving any debris within the wetland resource areas.
We've used them on some projects in Needham. They're great.
Great, awesome. Yep. And so we're hoping to do this sometime in July of this year. We currently have the crew at hand, but we're waiting for the RDA, and we're in the process of procuring some of the materials. So, yep, just if any of the commission members has any questions about the work that's being proposed, feel free to let me know.
All right, great, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's first, Deb, do you have any comments?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, great. Clara, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. I'm just curious, do we have any NHESP areas, critical areas there, or habitats that we need to be concerned with?
Yep, so this is located within Priority Habitat 1181. And so we've reached out to the Endangered Species Program at the So Heritage. DCR has an agreement for trail maintenance activities. So we actually have a habitat management plan that includes all trail maintenance activities at all DCR trails, and they're categorized by a red, yellow, green. And Heritage has determined that the completion of this work is inclusive of the habitat management plan, so we don't need any additional reviews.
Wonderful, that's all
Yep.
I needed to know. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Okay, I just want to let the commissioners know that Cutler Park is the largest open space property in Needham. It's even bigger than Ridge Hill, and it's the largest wetland on the Charles River, I believe, freshwater wetland. And I go there all the time. I am quite familiar with the boardwalks, and they are in pretty poor shape. And I think this project is great. I remember this area before there were boardwalks, and ever since the boardwalks are put in, it opens up the area to really nice trail. And they are severely deteriorated to the point where may even be hazardous. And I know that DCR has been trying to piecemeal repairs over the years. So I think this is really tremendous that they're going to do a full-scale restoration of this boardwalk. So,
I think
Bill.
it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, Bill, you got your hand up? Bill Hubbard? You're on mute.
Sorry, I had it off. So yeah, Dave, it's a great project, and I agree with you. And I'm just wondering, so you're looking for an exception to get an application for a permit because it's an emergency project, the safety. Is that?
No,
Why I would-
so the request for the bylaw, we were requesting a waiver of the filing fee. Pursuant to your wetland regulations, just based on the fact that this is a project that's serving a substantial public interest. That's the only exemption that we're asking for. It's just the waiver of the bylaw fee.
Oh,
Yeah,
so not that you have to give a permit application?
Well, I guess we're also requesting that the project be allowed to be completed under an RDA, as opposed to needing a notice of intent. So I believe we said determination C, whether the activities are subject to the Wetlands Protection Act and the regulations.
yeah, I think that the essence of that request is that the work will not really have an impact on wetlands because the boardwalk already exists and the work will primarily be done on the boardwalk.
And I think we usually do check off D as well, so
Okay.
when I draft it, if it's approved, I'll include that.
Okay. I was just trying to clarify what the exception was, and I thought it was an emergency project, so that's what I was asking.
Hey, you know, I've seen some pretty big holes in that boardwalk. And luckily, you know, nobody's gotten hurt.
So the provisions that you're talking about 2B,
Hmm.
usually that's something that you're pointing at in the Wetlands Protection Act or the regulations. So I understand why that was probably a little confusing. But they're pretty much stating why it doesn't rise to the level of having to file a notice of intent, but not really pointing to an exception.
Although they do have some level of exception because they do have a vegetation management plan. They do control vegetation. You said it's a maintained area, right? Alexandra?
We just cut like a foot on each side of the boardwalk. The
Yeah.
cattails are cut down, and that's just something that's been routinely done since the boardwalk has been in place.
Yeah, so there's already some level of maintenance, so I agree this with the RDA.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience, any member of the public that has their hand up that might want to comment?
No.
Okay, if that's the case, then I would entertain a motion to close the hearing for 84 Kendrick Street, Cutler Park.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, let's vote. Bill,
Aye.
Clary,
aye.
Stu,
Hi.
Reed,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
Would you like me to mail that to either one of you?
Yes, if you could mail it to me, Debbie. I'm at I think you have my address. It's the Northampton address. Yep.
Okay,
Do
All right.
Thank you.
close it?
thank
And-
you.
I don't know if I could add one more comment. So this is something that I believe we shared with the email, but Cutler Park is undergoing a trail master plan. So we're in the process of assessing all the trails, whether authorized or unauthorized, like trails that have just popped up in the park, which are many, and assessing impacts related to cultural resources and natural resources, which include wetland wildlife and rare species habitat. So I'm just going to send the link on the chat that provides a little bit more information about DCR trail planning, and it includes the Cutler Park project. Towards the bottom of the page, there is a 2025 trail plan kickoff survey. If the members of the commission want to participate, if you haven't done so, and if you want to just spread the word about the fact that we're doing a trail plan at the site, that would be fantastic. We are going to be having a public meeting, not likely until the fall or the winter of this year, because we're still in the data gathering stages.
All right, great. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank
You
you.
too.
All right, so
I have a
we
question.
need to vote on the
Oh, that was my question.
issuance of the negative determination. So could I have a motion to issue a negative determination of applicability for 84 Kendrick Street, Cutler Park?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Okay, let's vote. Bill,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Sue,
Hi.
Clary.
aye.
I would note that I've been in contact with, and Deb has been in contact with DCR about a different problem around the pond, Kendrick Pond, which is, towards the north of Cutler Park, where there's been some problems with the culvert and causing flooding of trails and whatever, and then DCR is in the process of coming up with a solution for that. So I think they're seem to be focusing on Cutler Park to try to resolve some problems there.
Okay.
Did you vote? Did you
Oh.
vote on it?
For the determination? I can't
Yeah.
remember. But yeah, the chair votes aye.
Did we close on that before the determination?
Yeah.
We closed
We
on
did.
the discussion
Okay.
and then we just voted.
Now,
Okay.
they also wanted a waiver of the filing fee. So could I have a motion to waive the filing fee for 84 Kendrick Street, Cutler Park?
So moved?
A second.
Okay, let's vote. Sue,
Aye.
Clary,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, so I think we have two orders of conditions, one for 11 Glover Road and one for 72 Valley Road.
So Lisa, if you can pop up 11 Glover.
Never seen anything like it.
Nice job. Thank you. Alrighty. So, the things about this project, so there is FEMA Zone A located on the site. They're proposing to install one of the Coltech units within that area. So they are proposing compensatory storage. So they are planning to demolish the existing one-car garage and construct a 771 square foot garage addition and 160 square foot second story deck off the rear of the existing single-family house. They're going to remove the existing driveway and replace it with a larger 648 square foot porous pavement driveway. They're also proposing to install a vinyl fence to enclose the backyard. And they are planning to infiltrate the roof runoff from the new impervious surfaces. They're proposing to remove one tree as they are in riverfront area. And they're already over 10%. They do need to propose restoration for the additional impervious that they're proposing. So they did propose a 4,285 square foot wetland buffer zone and riverfront area restoration, including removing lawn in that area and installing native plantings. They are proposing permanent demarcation with birdhouses and the conservation placards. Let's see. So they are requesting a waiver for work in the 25-foot buffer zone. So did you vote on that waiver or no?
Can't remember.
You may, okay, so you may after this, before we vote to issue this, we should go back and vote. So the only work in the 25-foot buffer zone is to remove lawn and to install the restoration area plantings. So for special conditions, I do have highlighted number 11, which Dave had drafted to include the requirement that the stormwater management O&M plan is recorded at the registry along with the order of conditions. So that's highlighted. So they are under the planting work and monitoring. We have their removal of the lawn, installing of a native seed mix and plantings. 2 native trees and 30 shrubs and 2 different types of native seed mixes. And then we have our usual 2 years of monitoring. And the mitigation plantings should be maintained in perpetuity. And the requirement for the permanent demarcation at the edge of the mitigation planting area. So that is what I have. If you have anything that you want added or changed, let me know.
Sounds good. Any comments?
Sounds good.
All right, so should we vote on the waiver first?
Yep, so waiver for work in the 25-foot. And actually there are wetlands that are lawn currently that they're gonna be restoring. So work in the wetland and the 25-foot buffer zone. And they also requested a waiver of the waiver fee.
So we gotta can we do them all at once?
Well, you can do the work in the wetland and the 25-foot in one,
And
but
then
I would do the waiver of the waiver fee as a separate one.
Okay. Okay, so for 11 Glover Road, could I have a motion to waive the requirement or the restriction of work in the 25-foot non-disturbed zone and in the wetland area?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, let's vote. Sue,
Aye.
Bill,
aye.
Clary,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Next, for 11 Glover Road, waiver of the fee for working in the non-disturbed zone.
So moved. Is
Second.
that appropriate?
Okay, let's vote. Sue,
Aye.
Clary,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. And then finally, about motion for issuing the order of conditions for 11 Glover Road, DEP file 234-946.
So
So
moved.
Second,
Okay, Sue?
Aye.
Clary?
Aye.
Bill?
aye.
Reed?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay, great. So next we have 72 Valley Road, order of conditions.
You can pop that one up, Elisa. Thank you. So this project, most of the work is outside of our jurisdiction. If you remember the back of the property, there's that rise up onto the esker, and the wetland is on the other side of that. So the only work proposed in the buffer zone is construction of a retaining wall, tree removal, grading, installation of a stormwater system, and mitigation plantings. And those are all between 50 and 100 feet from the bordering vegetated wetland. So they will be demolishing the house and garage and such outside of our jurisdiction. So they are removing 10 trees at the rear of the property in order to grade that area and put in the retaining wall. So they did submit a mitigation planting plan. That includes the installation of 12 native trees and 44 native shrubs to comply with the regulations. And they're also proposing to infiltrate the stormwater runoff on site with the installation of 2 Holtec infiltration systems. So as far as special conditions, there wasn't too much. Once again, I highlighted Dave's special condition requiring the recording of the O and M plan with the order of conditions. And then we have under
Can I
planting
make-
work and,
Can I
sorry,
make just one comment?
Yeah.
They haven't submitted a plan, right?
they did submit a plan.
Oh, they did, okay. Because our new regulations require the plan to be submitted with the application, so this,
Yes, I do,
yeah, so this shouldn't be a big burden for anybody because they would have
right,
already submitted the plan.
yep, they did. And then under the planting work and monitoring, we have our usual 2-year monitoring period. And that's all I had on that.
Looks good. They're getting good at these after all these years.
Sounds good.
Yeah, someday I'll do them, you know,
Well, we'll get our AI.
earlier than 15 minutes before the meeting starts.
We'll get our AI to do them.
There we go. Or perhaps the new conservation specialist.
Oh, yeah, well, he can use AI or she could use AI.
There we go.
Okay, so if there's no comments or additions, I'd entertain a motion to issue the order of conditions for 72 Valley Road, DEP file 234-950.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, let's vote. Sue,
Aye.
Clary,
Aye.
Bill,
aye.
Reed,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, great. So that concludes our agenda. I don't know if there's anybody has anything they want to bring up. I would like to just let everybody know that on Monday at the town meeting, our CPA project was approved unanimously by the select board. Actually, it went on the consent agenda. There was no discussion.
Great.
And so we're good to go. And
Congratulations.
we had a call with some prospective volunteers. Was the last week, I think it was. And
Mm-hmm.
so we got people to sign up. I'm trying to think if anybody there was from the Conservation Commission, and I expected to see everybody there, but
Sorry.
Sue was there.
oh yeah, Sue, that's right, Sue.
I was there in spirit, Dave.
All right, so
You all need to watch the recording.
It's good. It's
yeah. So we have a we put together a Google Drive site for now where we're putting information about the project, and so the link to that was included in the email, and we have like a sign up sheet for people to indicate what they might be interested in working on. What we really need is somebody that wants to work with a graphics program and lay out some stuff, but I don't know if anybody on here is interested in that, but that's our biggest need right now. We got 4 or more Boy Scouts that are interested in the project. So that's good. To do some trail work, maybe some bog walks and whatever. I'm going to speak next week with Ed Olson about securing a contractor to put in the signposts and all that. But we need to finalize what the signs say and then finalize the layout so they can get printed up. And then, there'll be some volunteer work to affix the signs to the posts. So we're going to.
So Elisa has pointed out that we did not close the hearing
Uh-oh,
for Valley.
I'm sorry. One of these days we'll get through the whole. All right, so
She's a stickler.
all right, no, that's good.
Sorry.
So can,
You keep me honest.
can I have a motion to close the hearing for 72 Valley Road, DEP file 234-950?
Motion to close.
Second,
All right, let's vote. Sue,
I,
Clary,
aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. So anyway, Deb and I will keep everybody informed about this project as it moves forward. So we're just getting started, but I think everybody's happy that we're moving forward.
Yep.
thank
I'll
you.
take a look at the presentation.
Yeah,
There'll be a
think-
quiz.
Hmm.
or give me a call or whatever. We're gonna have
Okay.
a meeting. There's like 5 people have signed up already to be stewards, which I think is like a really important thing. The volunteers, I think we're just going to have work days for the volunteers, because I think that's how that works out best. Say like Saturday morning or Wednesday afternoon or
So
sometime.
what is it that you need on the graphics? What is it?
Well, it's a layout of the signs.
Okay.
I'll show you the. If you look at the. If you look at this at the presentation, you'll see
Yeah.
these signs, and so just simply say there's like a text, right arrow, left arrow, and
Right.
I'll have like a spreadsheet where all the signs are numbered where they're going to go, and then I'm going to try to get the stewards to fill in the name of the trail or the name, the text, and then the direction and colors of the arrows.
Okay.
And then based on that, I have templates in a program called InDesign, which is a graphic layout program. And I need somebody to transfer the data from the spreadsheet into the graphics program.
Okay.
Because the printer needs a specific graphic for every sign to be printed. So it's pretty routine. And then the other thing.
Distances too? Are you gonna put in distances?
No.
No.
No. The other thing that I think would be interesting to work on, I was hoping to get somebody from the high school to do this, but nobody's stepped up yet, is interpretive signs. We were thinking about putting in some interpretive signs. They could be various sizes or whatever. Some could just
That's
be.
something I wouldn't mind working on.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind working on that.
Yeah, I've been doing signs for different side projects and
Yeah.
stuff for a while, so.
So there's 2 kinds of interpretive signs I was thinking of. One is just a simple, maybe a 4-inch by 4-inch sign that had a QR code on it. And
Mhm.
like red oak or, sugar maple or whatever. And then if somebody was interested, they could just click on our QR code and they could go to like a Wikipedia site or some other site that we give more information. But the other thing I was thinking about is like what the trustees have at the Peninsula, if any of you have been out there. And it's basically maybe a 24 by 36-inch sign. And they have like 3 of them at the Peninsula, which is a big meadow area. And, one talks about meadow ecology. One of them talks about nesting birds. And then one of them gives the history of that area, which used to be a farm a long time ago. And so I was thinking at Ridge Hill, we could have something like that. And
We also have the vernal pool near the entrance
Yeah.
at Ridge Hill that we could put signage.
yeah, like a vernal pool. What is a
Yeah.
vernal pool? I got examples of these too, which I can show.
Me too.
So I can work on the graphic design. How about I come over to you, Deb, and maybe we can talk about.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Another topic would be at Ridge Hill, what is an esker, right? Because there's this big esker at Ridge Hill, and there's a trail named Esker, but everybody's asking what an esker is.
Yeah.
And then the third thing would be the history of Ridge Hill. And I know Gloria Grice at the History Center has a booklet that was published on the history of Ridge Hill. So I think
I have it too.
Yeah. that, you know, that would make a nice little, little sign as well. So those are some of the initial ideas.
Great.
Sounds good.
All right. Anybody have any other thoughts? No?
Another, I have another question.
Sure, yeah.
Has everyone voted on the,
So I now have all the votes, but Paulina is not here. And she asked when we were gonna be voting. So I said we could hold off since she's not able to be here to vote. So,
I thought we voted like on a secret ballot.
well, we have voted in the secret ballot.
But she wants
So,
to be here when you announce the results.
huh?
She wants to be here when the results are announced.
I don't know. Maybe she thought that there was an in-person vote too. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
so the fact that everyone's voted, can we know the results?
That's up to you guys. Would you like to know the results?
I'd love to know. the
Don't keep us in
results.
suspense.
So of the 7, we had 4 wanting to stay remote for now. We had 2 that wanted to go hybrid, and 1 that could go either way.
That's not a vote.
That's an abstention.
All right.
So, but we have 4 that were definitely wanting to stay remote for now.
How many other committees in need, Deb, are remote still? Maybe one? I mean,
Elisa, yours
with
is
this-
all remote, right?
Yes, mine's remote. That's the design review board.
Is there anything else in need in this remote? It's just, this has been 5 years now.
Well, we had a vote. You know, the issue's been discussed. We had a vote.
Right.
You know, we can agree to a vote again in the future.
Yeah, I don't know about the other boards, honestly, Sue.
I mean, I see it in the news for Needham. I just don't see, maybe there's 2. And
Mm-hmm.
I just, you know, I think we're defeating the purpose being in person. I mean, being remote. That's the vote, I guess.
Mm. It's getting closer.
What's getting closer?
The vote.
Well,
No,
you
it's
had
about,
three,
I think I
I
think it's
know.
still about,
Whoops.
Yeah.
Who's that? Blue?
Actually, it's Kelso.
Oh.
I have 2 dogs tonight.
All right. Well, we can vote again sometime in the future. But I mean, I think the purpose of the vote was to see the sentiment of the board, and we got the results. Is there anything else anybody wants to mention? All right, then I would entertain a motion to close the meeting.
Motion to close.
Second.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Hey.
All right, thanks, everybody, and you know, Clary, if you want to get together,
Yeah,
you know, I'm available most afternoons after 1 o'clock. So
okay. Do you want to
Okay.
meet up with Deb? She has the book. I would love to see the
Right.
book.
Deb is really busy, so you
Okay.
tell us when you're available, Deb, and
Yeah.
we can get together.
Yes, I will, I will, the beginning of the week, I will let you know.